Yeah. No problem. Very happy to see you. I don't know. I'm not in a mood to give class now. I just want to sit and talk to you. Thank you. Thank you. No, 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 no. When Pandavas were in Virat and Hastinapur attacked Virat, at that time the Virat Raj's son, forgot his name, Uttara Kumar. Uttara Kumar boasted that he is going to go and to smash the whole army of Kauravas. Arjuna was his charioteer as the dancer. Right? Rohanala. Yes. So when Uttara looked at, all of a sudden looked at Kaurava army, he completely started sweating. He completely felt overwhelmed. Huh? Yeah, just seeing, who has come. I'm also feeling like that right now. Looking at Lalit Mohan bro. So I'm too overwhelmed to have his audience like this. Thank you, bro. If you can please give a class, it will be so nice. And I want to sit and hear. No, please, really.
Don't embarrass me.
No, I'm not embarrassed. Yeah. How many here want to hear from Lalit Mohan? Hare Krishna.
Special class. I don't hear.
Okay, I'll speak whatever I could learn. You add wherever.
Oh. Please, bro. Let me hear, bro. Please.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari 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 Yashodanandana Brajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yashodanandana Brajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Just searching everything out. Such a beautiful altar. So many beautiful pictures. Kaligram ki jai. Hare Krishna. Sudarshan is so big. I never seen Sudarshan so big. You've seen the Sudarshan, right? So big. Normally Sudarshan is so thin and this much. Here it is really scary.
Volume.
Volume? Can you increase the volume?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Is it better now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Jnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobisham Savitam Nera Nutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupa Sagrajatana Sagadam Sajivam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Krishna Paradam Lalita Shri Vishakam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Namustate Kanchana Gangi Radhe Vrindaveshwari Namaste Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripatrindogyarimaccha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurapattarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Let's read together. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namaha namah pankajanabhaya namah pankajamaline नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे चेतोदर्पणमर्जनं भवमहाद्वाग्निर्वापनं शरीरकैरिव चन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वत्मसपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् नामकारि भङ्गानि सर्वशक्ति तत्रातिपा नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं न जानानुरागः तृणादपि सुनीचेनातरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमाननीयमानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरी कवितं वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनीश्वरे भवतर्भक्तिरपैतकीर्तने नंदतनुज किंकर पतितमां विषमे भवां बुधौ कृपया तव पाद पंकज धूल सदर्शं विचिन्तया नयनं दर्शनुधारय वदनं गिरा पुरकेन्द्रचितं वपुगनाथम नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति नायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रवर्षायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहे आश्लिष्यमापादरतं किनस्तु मामादर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा विघातभावयुतो लम्पतो माक्रमणस्येव नापर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपहतमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत् स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सभ्याभ्यन्तरं श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु हरे कृष्ण Oh, sorry for making you Oh, you removed this from Baldev? Very Prabhuji, doesn't look like half is not there. So Jagannath you can go to Prabhuji.
Hey, Prabhu. मैं निकल मैं चला हूँ मैं चला जाऊँगा
No. Mercy of Krishna, Prabhuji, what are you doing? Hare Krishna, you have come, you have joined from there, we are very grateful. I want to settle the matter between Jagannath and Baldev. This Baldev is already looking like this, where is my garment? Huh?
He is an instrumentalist. That's
Let us welcome Lalit Mohan Prabhu with 3 loud and Swastik. We have been waiting for his association for a long time. Very grateful that Prabhu you have come today. We are missing your family. Really, I am missing you.
I am missing them.
No, really. We are waiting for your invite. So we all can bombard. लोग सोचेंगे कौन आ गया किधर से आए लोग हरे कृष्णा So Krishna Balram deities were very dearly worshipped by one of the Goswamis, Jiva Goswami. And today is the disappearance day of Jiva Goswami. Is that right? Disappearance or appearance? Yeah, is one calendar here, Neil?
Tomorrow is
Is it tomorrow? I thought it's today. No? Okay. 26. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. It is the appearance. Disappearance. Okay, so for an Acharya, appearance, disappearance, both are same. So we're celebrating it today and tomorrow is also same. I just remembered looking at Krishna and Balram. So Prabhupada established Krishna Balram deities, right? Which is very unique in Vrindavan, right? And Prabhupada also established them in Hyderabad. You all know that? Where? Mitchell. There also he named it Krishna Balram deities, right? Yes. So Jiva Goswami was a very, very dear worshipper of Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna Balaram, both of them. And he was a nephew of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, right? And Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Jiva Goswami made his life and soul to serve Rupa Goswami. So he would do everything to serve Rupa Goswami. So when Rupa Goswami is writing his manuscripts, he would sit there and make everything right and help him. He would wash Rupa Goswami's lotus feet. He would serve him. He would all the time take care of Rupa Goswami. And under his mercy, Jiva Goswami also is one of the 6 Goswamis whom we worship. And Jiva Goswami is famous for his scholarly work. He was very, very intelligent. Right? Among all the Goswamis, if somebody has written so much literature, it is Jiva Goswami. It is explained that he has written more than 5 lakh verses, Sanskrit verses. More than 500,000, you can say. He has written. And Sandarbhas, he has written. Many people used to compose Sanskrit verses. They would first write it and vet it and then think, whether it's right or wrong or like that. Jiva Goswami would just take a leaf and he would have this metal pressing thing. And with that, he would just write the verse. There's no proofreading after that. He would just write it and then just keep on writing it from morning till night. Sanskrit verses, not easy. You can't just do that, because even one meaning can be here and there, it can be different. So he was so scholarly. And after the Goswamis left, Jiva Goswami, after Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami left, Jiva Goswami became the Gaudiya Vaishnava Samprada Acharya to pass on that same strength in literature, writing the essence of all scriptures. And then at one point when he had written so much, then Janava Devi, wife of Nityanand Prabhu, ordered Srivasa Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shamanand Pandit, three of them to take that literature and translate it in Bengali, in Gaudiya. So that literature was taken from Braj to Bengal, and so many leelas happened in between. Some dacoits took over the literature, and they were like, "Oh my God, where is all the hard work of all the Goswamis?" And then a king found out, and the king took it. King made his job to propagate the literature. See how Krishna plans everything, right? So Jiva Goswami was known for his Vaishnava Seva in Braj. Anybody would come to Braj from Bengal, he would make sure the Braj Mandal Parikrama he himself personally used to take around the entire Braj, right? There's so many things about Jiva Goswami. And he was named Jiva because he gives life. He gives life, knowledge to everybody who approaches him. And there are many pastimes, sweet pastimes between the Goswamis. One famous pastime is about Rupa Goswami's temporary anger on Jiva Goswami, right? Jiva Goswami was assisting Rupa Goswami, and at that time, one scholarly person, he entered Vrindavan, and he was trying to correct what Rupa Goswami had already written. Somebody told me it is Vallabhacharya. I don't know. Somebody told me. I'm still confused with one personality. In his very elderly age, it was Vallabhacharya who came. But anyway, it was another great person. There's nothing wrong in dialogue happening, and Rupa Goswami, without any discussion, he said whatever he told is right. He just left the matter there. But Jiva Goswami felt that his guru, Rupa Goswami, was defeated, or rather, he was objected to what he has written. So he was very scholarly, so he immediately started correcting. The personality. He said, no, actually, my guru meant like this. You were thinking it like this, but actually, he meant like this. This is how it is referred. This is how it is right. And then that personality, oh my God, yeah, why did your guru accept just like that? When you had such a nice reason, why did he accept? And then he said, okay, Hari Bol, and he left. And later on, Rupa Goswami got to know that Jiva Goswami had corrected the personality, and he sent. Any other guru would feel great about it, right? I mean, like, my disciple is corrected, like that. Rupa Goswami felt exactly the opposite. He said, you are wasting time in Braj. Here we are supposed to serve Radha and Krishna, and you are behind arguing with people. Don't you know the mode of Braj? Here we are not supposed to be proving that we are the great. Here we are here to prove that Lord Krishna is great. So what if I'm wrong? So what if I was corrected? So what? What is the reason for you to waste your time to correct somebody? Like that. He told, you don't have the qualification to be in Vraj. Go to Vraj. He told. Just imagine the graveness, And Acharyas explained that Rupa Goswami did that because he wanted to prove with an example what he wrote in Upadeshamrita. Vacho Vegam, Manaso Vegam, Krodha Vegam. So you should have control on your tongue and your intentions. So he proved that with his own disciple. Rupa Goswami initiated Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami was totally into tears. Oh my God, this Leela is spoken for hours by some of our senior Bhagavats. They speak so much emotion and just going very fast. So he was so affected, like, oh, where will I live without my guru? Where can I live? What is my life, purpose of life? There is no reason for me to be alive. But at the same time, my guru has asked me to leave Vrindavan, so I have to leave Vrindavan. I can't stay in Vrindavan. So he left to I don't know where, in Vrindavan or outside Vrindavan, he was somewhere.
Some cave.
Yeah. I mean, that was a crocodile hole. Yeah, it was near Yamuna. Yeah. So there was this crocodile made hole. He went and sat inside there and he was crying there for days. And Sanatana Goswami is searching, where is this Jiva? Where is Jiva Goswami? I don't see him. So he's searching here and there. He's not finding him. Many days have passed by. Then he heard this cry beside the river in that little hole. So who is crying here? It's resounding. Can you? No, not reduce, but can rotate.
You said this.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So he looked at Jiva Goswami. Jiva, what are you doing here? What is your situation? You don't seem to be, you've not had anything. You look to be completely, disarrayed. What is problem? What is no, Rupa Goswami has thrown me out because of my offense. I did a big offense. See, look at his attitude. He is not also justifying what he did is right. See, that's a Vaishnava. If Guru has told you have done wrong, he accepted that he has done wrong. There is no discussion. He was actually feeling guilt that what he has done is wrong. And Sanatan Goswami is like, again, because Sanatan Goswami is also a Goswami. He's like, no, you have not done something so wrong that you have to be, removed out of Vrindavan. Then he went to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami was writing his literature. At that time, he goes and says, Vaishnavas should have Jivadaya. Jivadaya. So Rupa Goswami is like, yes, I know Vaishnava should have Jivadaya. No, he should have Jivadaya. Show some Jivadaya. Then he understood, so you're telling about Jiva Goswami, show some Daya on Jiva Daya. And then they called him back. Please come back. So eternally, Rupa Goswami resides near Rupa. Eternally, Jiva Goswami resides near Rupa Goswami, even right now. If you have gone to Vrindavan, you will see Rupa Goswami's Samadhi in Radha Damodar temple, and right behind him is Jiva Goswami Samadhi. Right there. See the amazing love and affection the Goswami share with each other. Ever. And there, Jiva Goswami Samadhi is a little this side, Rupa Goswami Samadhi this side, and right between them is a room of a personality who has established this ISKCON. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He used to sit in that room and cry. It's explained, he used to cry in the night, begging, give me the mercy so I can follow the order of my spiritual master. I can repeat the words that you have given. Right now, there are some great scholarly devotees of ISKCON who are allocated the work of translating the Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami. I think under the leadership of Banu Maharaj, it's happening from BBT. And they are saying what he has written is unparalleled. The kind of explanations he has, Jiva Sandarbhas, right? The way he is establishing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, taking the writings of Rupa Goswami and all the scriptures, what he has done is unbelievable. Whenever it comes, it's very advanced knowledge. Once I had heard one very senior Vaishnava in ISKCON. He is a devotee of, is a disciple of Hanmat Preksha Maharaj. What's his name? He gives seminars on, what's his name? In Bay Area also, he lives in Washington. He's a professor, the one who read Bhagavatam from his childhood. Radhikaramantu, yes. He gives lectures on Jiva Goswami Sandarbhas. Unbelievable lectures he gives.
That Mataji who taught him only Bhagavatam.
Yes. No other, she just taught him Bhagavatam and he became the youngest PhD scholar from Oxford University, just by reading Bhagavatam. Miracles happen. So, so he gives lectures. If you're interested, you can go to Radhika Raman Prabhu in YouTube and you can hear his lectures on Jiva Sandarbhas. And he has done PhD on Jiva Sandarbhas in Oxford, and he explained the way. So somebody you should look forward. So ISKCON is filled with unbelievable, great devotees. So it's very easy to follow their footsteps and repeat what they are saying. So anybody can become a preacher. Anybody can, just by repeating what is being presented. So I also want to take 1 minute off and request all of you to pray for my senior god brother who left his body today. His name is Varaha Avatar Das. He lived in Kukatpalli, and he was a very nice person. I spoke to him 3-4 times. I spoke to him 3-4 times. He is a very wonderful person. He had so much fascination for serving cows. So he came to me 2-3 times. He said, "Oh, I want to do something." He said, "You first come to the farm." So he came once also. But right after that, I think 8, 9 months back, he's very young. He's hardly 52 or something. And suddenly he was diagnosed with 4th stage cancer. Yeah. So, Sham Prabhu, I have it. And मेरे पास है. Thank you, Veda. So he was diagnosed with 4th stage cancer, and Sham, Sham Jaiswal Prabhu, Sham Madhav Prabhu, as soon as he saw the reports, he told 6 months max. They tried all the ways, all Ayurvedic, Panchagavya, everything they tried, but it was too late. He had some cancer of spinal cord, spinal bone. Very painful. He met his guru, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He went to Chopati, he met. Brief moment, Maharaj blessed him, explained this is the material world. But don't worry, keep chanting. So he was chanting all the way. He was in a lot of pain recently, like I heard last 2 weeks were very heavy on him. He was on oxygen and all that, but he knew that he's going to leave his body. So I think in between Vaishnavas, he gloriously left his body today. I could not go there. I got the news very late. Just in the afternoon, I got. By the time I got to know, his body was already taken to for cremation. But anyway, we'll maybe 10th day or something. I'll go. He's a very nice devotee. So let's all pray to Sri Jagannath Baldev Sodramai for another soul who has just arrived at the doorstep to take care and bless him with all that love. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Grace Varaha ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So amazing part is how nicely Vaishnavas leave the body, right? How happily they leave also. I called him, when he got cancer, I called him. I was shocked that he got, because I just spoke to him a few days back before that. And I told him, Prabhu, you got cancer. I heard it's in 4th stage. He said, Prabhu, sabko jana hai na ek din. Sabko jana hai na ek din. नहीं प्रभु ऐसा नहीं है. You started the treatment. हाँ प्रभु करेंगे treatment, उसमें क्या कर लेंगे treatment. Very jovial and very light-hearted person. I wish you would have seen him sometime. You must have seen him in the Rath Yatra or some places like that. Yeah. So he's a relative of Dheeraj Prabhu. Dheeraj Prabhu, Namrata Mati. Namrata Mati, Dheeraj Prabhu? Yeah, they're related. Anybody here who knows him or seen him? Okay. Yeah. Very simple, very nice devotee. Anyway, so he finished his journey. And like yesterday, Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, Trivikram Maharaj told, everybody in Prabhupada's movement is going back home, back to God. So nothing to worry. He's certainly gone back. What a profound statement it was, right? Even the brief association of a sannyasi who was close to Srila Prabhupada has touched so many of our lives. Even how much time did Maharaj spend with us? 1.5 hours, right? I think 1 hour to be precise. In that 1 hour, whatever little he spoke and his association was so, I felt differently, after the whole, after Maharaj left, I was contemplating, my God. See, you can give 3-hour lectures, 10-hour lectures for 10 years, but nothing happens. But one pure soul, he comes and just with his association, he says 5 things and directly goes into the heart. And that is how Prabhupada was. Prabhupada could do that.
I'm seeing Jagannath is so happy seeing all the devotees.
He should be facing that side. He's looking at me and I'm upset. They're forced to see like this now.
360 degree, we can see everyone.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, so we had a nice association of His Holiness Sri Goswami Maharaj. Some things that he told were so profound. One thing that really went into my heart is the importance of Sankirtan that he told, that how we can burn the passion in our hearts only through Sankirtan. We have to do more and more Sankirtan in our houses, outside, everywhere. And if we do Sankirtan, then our mode of passion will be completely burnt. Otherwise, that mode of passion, the energy inside is going to make us flicker for happiness and sense gratification everywhere. That is the only way to burn. So it was a very profound statement, what he told. And he also told about the importance of understanding that parampara is continuing with Srila Prabhupada. I didn't expect that he'll pick up the topic, but he directly took it and smashed it. Right? The whole Ritvik movement. He just took it and 2 minutes he smashed it and threw it outside. And Prabhupada told Tamal Krishna Goswami to initiate. So where is the question of Ritvikism? Is that somebody came to take initiation from Srila Prabhupada 1 month before he left his body, and Prabhupada told, I can't initiate anybody in this body, in this situation. I don't have the energy to initiate. So Tamal Goswami, please start initiating. So it's over. Prabhupada has clearly settled the matter there. But unfortunately, so many people have misinterpreted, and the whole Ritvikism has taken birth.
Only when it started after Prabhupada or recently?
Actually, while Prabhupada was there, Prabhupada had started Ritvikism with a different flavor. What he did is, I cannot reach out to many places, so there are sannyasis whom I have initiated, I have given sannyas. You can go and initiate them on my behalf. That is the message. So when you initiate on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, I am giving this mala, and here is the name. Names also Prabhupada is to give. Everything Prabhupada is to do. Just that the connection point is to connect through them. But Prabhupada, when he left his body, before he left his body, he made sure that he gave that empowerment to initiate to 11 gurus in ISKCON, including Jayapataka Maharaj, including Trivikram Maharaj, like that. He gave that. And he told, yeah, here the parampara continues. Right? And after Prabhupada left, it was going on fine until some, one personality in ISKCON, he did Guru Aparad. That's what he did. He blasphemed his own Guru. That's where his intelligence got completely polluted. And he started a new movement called Hare Krishna movement. Right? And then he promoted that gurus who Prabhupada created are not meant to initiate. There can be sannyasis in ISKCON, but nobody can initiate. They can only initiate as a Ritvik. Just representing Prabhupada. You cannot say that disciple is mine. You can only say disciple is Prabhupada's, only Prabhupada's, not mine. Now also actually when our gurus initiate, they say, I'm initiating on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and that Guru Parampara. Those are the words, beautifully they say that. But he made sure that the role of this Guru right now is completely eliminated. But that's not right. That's not right. And as Maharaj explained beautifully, that even now ISKCON doesn't stop you from accepting Prabhupada as your Siksha Guru, as your Diksha Guru also. ISKCON doesn't stop. If somebody comes and says, I want to be connected only to Srila Prabhupada, even though when you're getting initiated with some other Guru, the Guru will say, okay, very good, go ahead. So the clarification is very clearly given. Yesterday, Maharaj clarified that beautifully. Some topics are very not much discussed or not on the main platform, not like a class. They're discussed in meetings. So he brought it forward and another beautiful point that he told is any guru who is trying to become Prabhupada will fall down 100%. There is no doubt on that. So Srila Prabhupada remains the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And anybody who tries to take that Hare Krishna, बहुत दिनों में बोले. Anybody who tries to take that position or tries to behave like Prabhupada will fall down. And it happened. It happened. Many have seen that situation. You can't imitate. You can't imitate your spiritual master saying that I'm also like Prabhupada. Some people don't want to quote anybody or anything, but some people try to, speak like their spiritual master. They mimic them. The Prabhupada will give a gap, like that will give. Some people start giving there's no need. Prabhupada should do that. That's the way Prabhupada spoke. But you're trying to do that, right? People try to imitate. There was one great sannyasi, Gaur Govind Maharaj, after Prabhupada. If somebody spoke with the same authority and connection to Krishna, sannyasi, it was Gaur Govind Maharaj. Unfortunately, many people mistake that he is imitating Prabhupada. At one point that problem happened. But he was not. He was a pure devotee. Great sannyasi. Prabhupada declared that he is a pure devotee. Directly gave him sannyas. No first, second, direct third. Third initiation. He got first and second, immediately he got sannyas also. And when some devotees and disciples of Prabhupada came and asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, how come you are giving sannyas to such a new devotee? He just came. Prabhupada told, I made all of you devotee. He is a born devotee. I made you a devotee. He is a born devotee. He is Jagannath's son. Jagannath's, he is in the family of Pandas who worship Jagannath. And very, very, how many here have heard Gaur Govind Maharaj lectures? Should hear. Unbelievable. Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. Right? And he's in a different.
He has a special leader in the ISKCON Bhubaneswar.
Yeah. He's the only one who has his deity in ISKCON temple beside Prabhupada. Yeah. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Chakrapani Prabhu, you are here?
Hi.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay. So we'll go with Bhagavad Gita. Made a meeting. So in third chapter, we were discussing 3.20. So 13 chapter. Yeah, sorry, not third chapter. It took so many years to come to 13th chapter. I don't want to go to the third chapter. Yeah. So 13th chapter is about Arjuna asking questions, asking the detail, about kshetragya, jnana, jnana, right? All these things, prakriti, what are all these things? Now Lord Krishna has explained individually all of them. What is kshetra? What is jnana? What is jnana? Jnana means that which needs to be known. And qualities of getting that knowledge is also explained. Kshetra is explained, and kshetragya, right? Kshetragya is also explained. Now he's going to explain Prakriti, Purusha in their union. He's going to explain Prakriti and Purusha from verse number 20. Shilupal Prabhu is calling me. Yeah. Okay. So verse number 20, we already discussed last week. Translation I'll just read. You all can go to vedabase.com if you don't have the 13.20. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. The transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Yeah, this we discussed. Going to 21. Karya Karana Kartrutve. Karya Karana Kartrutve. Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate. Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam. Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. Karya Karana Kartrutve. Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam. Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. Any Prabhuji want to repeat? Repeat after you.
The Karya Karana Kartrutve.
Karya Karana Kartrutve.
Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate.
Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate.
Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam.
Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam.
भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते
One more provision.
कार्य
Go ahead.
कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे उच्यते
Mataji.
कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे हेतुप्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषसुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते
Any other Mataji?
कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे हेतुप्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषसुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते
Repeat after me. Karya of effect, Karana in cause, Sattutve in the matter of creation, Hetu the instrument, Prakriti material nature, Uchyate is said to be Purushaha the living entity, Sukha of happiness, Dukkhana and distress, Bhoktritve in enjoyment, Hetu the instrument, Uchyate is said to be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please repeat after me. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas a living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas a living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Purport. Please focus as I read the purport. The different manifestations of body and senses among the living entities are due to material nature. There are 8.4 million different species of life, and these varieties are creations of material nature. They arise from the different sensual pleasures of the living entity, who thus desires to live in this body or that. When he is put into different bodies, he enjoys different kinds of happiness and distress. His material happiness and distress are due to his body and not because as he is. In his original state, there is no doubt of enjoyment. Therefore, that is his real state. Because of the desire to lord it over the material nature, he is in the material world. In the spiritual world, there is no such thing. The spiritual world is pure. But in the material world, everyone is struggling hard to acquire different kinds of pleasures for the body. It might be more clear to state that this body is the effect of the senses. The senses are instruments for gratifying desire. Now, the sum total, body and instrument senses, is offered by material nature, and as will be clear in the next verse, the living entity is blessed or damned with circumstances according to his past desire and activity. According to one's desires and activities, material nature places one in different residential quarters. The being himself is the cause of his attaining such residential quarters and his attendant enjoyment or suffering. Once placed in some particular kind of body, he comes under the control of the nature because of the body. Being matter acts according to the laws of nature. At that time, the living entity has no power to change that law. Suppose an entity is put into a body of a dog. As soon as it's put into the body of a dog, he must act like a dog. He cannot act otherwise. And if the living entity is put into the body of a hog, then he is forced to eat stool and act like a hog. Similarly, if the living entity is put into the body of a demigod, he must act according to his body. This is the law of nature. But in all circumstances, the super soul is with the individual soul. That is explained in the Vedas. Mukunda Upanishad 3.1.1 as follows. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. The Supreme Lord is so kind upon the living entity that he always accompanies the individual soul and in all circumstances is present as a super soul or Paramatma. Hare Krishna. I think I read this verse in your when we came to your place. 13.2, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
yes.
is the one.
So I remember it. Yeah. Karya Karana Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukhanam Uktritve Hetu Ruchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas a living entity is the cause of all various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Right? So this way of reading, it's resounding. I don't know if you feel it. You want to keep it on top of this, pull this and yeah. Hare Krishna. Better? Yeah, yeah, it's not resounding. Yeah. So this way of reading Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita of the speaker reading the verse and then repeating, by the audience, it did not start the way this was in ISKCON. I think if I'm right, somewhere in 1972, it happened in Japan. When Burujana Prabhu called Prabhupada to he invited him to Japan, and there Prabhupada was sitting there, and the whole Japanese new devotees were sitting, and some Americans were sitting. Whole hall was filled. At that time, Prabhupada told, "Okay, read this verse," and the person started directly reading the translation. And Prabhupada said, "No, I asked you to read the verse." The Prabhupada, I don't know how to read. Prabhupada, I don't know how to perfectly read. You should try to read, you should learn to read, Prabhupada. And then he said, "You read." And then that person struggled in order to read the Sanskrit, which was translated. And Prabhupada said, "Why do you think I'm translating everything word by word? For you people to read. If you're not reading it, what's the point? If you're directly reading the translation, not reading the verse, you should read it. Even if it's difficult, you should read it." Then Prabhupada told, "Okay, you've read now, you read. You read. You read. You read. You read." He made the whole hall read that day, that verse. Right? And then word to word, in Prabhupada said, "Now you read word to word. Word to word, everybody repeat, what each word to word." So Prabhupada finished the class like that. And the next class, people are worried what is going to happen. So Prabhupada made sure everybody read the verse, even in the next class. And the whole time Prabhupada stayed in Japan during that time, every single class, every verse was read by everybody. You're not supposed to read the verse. Why don't you read the verse? You learn Sanskrit properly, man. Try to learn. I'm telling this to myself also. Always is that mistake. Don't spend enough time, but try. Try to read it. If it doesn't come perfectly first time, keep doing it until you get it. Nothing to be embarrassed. Just do it right and learn it properly. Especially when you're sitting in this position and reading, you should be perfect. Lalit Mantra is going to take a special course for me.
I'm already taking every morning.
Yeah?
Every morning, verse recitation.
Verse recitation. So I'll have to take a crash course. No, it's important. We have to. I do that mistake sometimes. I just can't read it. Some words are very difficult, especially the not very repeated verses. Every verse in Bhagavad Gita is very important, but there are verses, some of them which everybody repeats, right? And so many, they quoted so many. So automatically you will not make mistakes there. But there are some verses, like this verse is not repeated many times. And this is one of the verses in 13th chapter. So you tend to find it difficult to read it, but Prabhupada told it has to be read. And that was the first time in ISKCON, in Japan, this happened. And when the news went to all the temples, right, immediately after that, we are supposed to read like this, right? And then it started that every single Bhagavatam class or Bhagavad Gita class, they will first read, the speaker will read, but they reduced it to 3 times because the whole class will be reading only. 3 times, 3 Prabhujis, 3 Matajis. Like that. Format is there, same format. You go to any temple, So Prabhuji's, Mataji's, like that. When I was in Boston, I used to go to morning class every day Bhagavatam class. Unfortunately, I was the only one who used to repeat because I was the only one in the class. The speaker and me. Madhavendra Puri Prabhu, very highly scholar person. Like he was in his 70s and he would speak Gaur Leela just like that, He was very hidden lamp in ISKCON. A lot of people don't know him. And I was the only audience. Right? ISKCON temple in Boston, what do you expect in the morning? Everybody is running to the offices. My office was beside, so I used to go early in the morning. Every day take the commuter run, and first he used to complain. I used to record the lecture and post it in a website. That was my service. And I used to transcribe the whole lecture also. Literally write down the whole lecture. During the billing hours which my client used to pay, I used to transcribe the whole lecture. My Siksha Guru had a website. That was my service. Every day, go attend the class, attend the arati, attend the class. And then, so Madhavendra Puri Prabhu is, I'm just remembering, I'll just share a couple of things. So, he was somebody who is in it, he's in his own trance. He's not with us. He doesn't care who you are, what you are, and anything. He just speak what is right. And he used to preach MIT students. He was a physicist. He's a scientist in California. He got initiated. He couldn't meet Prabhupada. He got initiated in 1978. Just missed Prabhupada. He says that. And then, unfortunately, his guru fell down. The one who initiated him. And then again, he got initiated with another guru. That guru also fell down. And he was, I want to get initiated again. He was already double initiated. There's no need to. Then he got initiated by his own Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2011. Gitanagari, he got initiated. Then Radhanath Maharaj knew him before. He's known in ISKCON. A lot of people know. In US, he's known. Brahmachari, almost ready for sannyas, that kind of person. So he was, when Maharaj initiated him, and while giving his lecture, Maharaj is telling about sun, how sun is radiant and how it is, how it is one of the eyes of Krishna. Like Krishna explains, sun and moon are me. Then looked at Madhavendra Puri. Am I telling it right scientifically? They have the transcendental jokes between. Madhavendra Puri Prabhu is very, if he gets angry, he really gets angry. Angry in a nice way. So one day some MIT students came. Students from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, so-called famous MIT. Dham of engineers. Right? So they came and they sat down in the temple, like there were 8 or 9 of them, couple of girls and so few students, all Americans, they came. And they were talking, and Madhavendra Puri Prabhu was explaining them about Krishna, about Krishna, Supreme Personality God, Krishna, this and that. And then he was like, no, it's evolution, matter coming from evolution. That was very sensitive topic of Madhavendra Puri Prabhu. I knew that. If somebody said it's going to be smashed. But that person, he didn't know that student, he was like, no, but Darwin explained that we are evolving and everything is coming from evolution and this and that. And he just kept on going. Then Madhavendra, so are you saying that we came out of chemicals? We came out of chemicals and we just became like this? They said, yes, we have come out of chemicals. We are chemicals. Like that, the student started speaking. Then Madhavendra Puri was looking at what is this project. He said, do you mind if I put some chemicals on the floor and crush it with my feet? Do you mind? You know what it means, If you are a chemical, I just put you on the floor, touch your face. Do you see any problem, any emotions? No, yes, we are made of chemicals, but then he said that is the life force. And that is part of Krishna, like that. And then he gave them Khatarnak Gyan, and he said, you know what Krishna can do? You can't imagine what Krishna can do. You all seem to be, you have shaved your nicely and came in the morning. Krishna doesn't shave like this. Throws a razor, rotates his face. Everything is fine. Never heard the example anywhere. Only Madhavendra Puri Prabhu can do that. Just throw the razor, moves his face. Everything is gone. That Krishna can do. Can you believe God can do that? Students are just looking like this, all the American boys and girls. One more example he told. How much you can shoot bullets. Just imagine a whole room filled with iron pillars. And Krishna can shoot one bullet, and the bullet can go and hit all the pillars. And when he finally bullet falls down, you can see Hare Krishna Mahamantra transcripted on all the pillars. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yes. Okay, Krishna can do that. My God. So he established his own center and used to, preach the students. Nice. He was a very nice preacher, very nice. Gaurlila especially. He would literally, he would say Nitananda, I used to say Nitananda. So I used to do that service, and so he doesn't want to preach. He's into book distribution. He's totally into book distribution. Every day he will go and distribute books, and he doesn't like to meet anyone when he's distributing books. So I didn't know that. I saw him distributing books. So I came out of my office. Temple was close by. So I just looked at others and said, "Hey, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna." Prabhuji, start distributing. Something is wrong. So when I asked the temple president, his name was Mahavishnu Prabhu. So I went, Prabhu, why is Mahavishnu Prabhu so angry? Prabhu, don't do that mistake. Don't go to him when he's distributing books. When he is distributing books, he's only distributing books. He doesn't look at anybody. He's completely focused how to distribute books. He goes to Mahavishnu Prabhu. Sushma in the temple. Yeah, my God. Very, very completely, So temple president told him that if they ask him to give lecture, he doesn't want to waste time. He's like, I don't want to give lecture. I'm nobody to give lecture. I am very happy doing my book distribution and very happy doing my youth preaching. That's what I want to focus. So he's like that. So temple president, he used to tell, Prabhu, you have to give some lecture. You are in this temple. He would not give lecture. So then it gave a condition. He said, if you want to be in this temple, you have to give every day morning Bhagavatam lecture. Like that it told. So that also he recorded when I was recording his class. He looked at me and he said, so what to do? This part of the class. Temple president is asking me to give a lecture. I don't have any. The only person is you. I have to sit in front of him and give the class. So what is the point? Then I have to say, what did I do? Give the lecture, just to record. So after some time, he was very senior, actually, very, very senior. But he showed that friendship to me, in the beginning days. He became a little friend after some time. He chastised me so much, and after some time, he became favorable also. So sometimes when it is to snow, like 1 feet, 2 feet snow, nobody will go to offices. That day, everything is closed. But I used to go because he's waiting. Somebody has to record his lecture because there is nobody else in the hall. So sometimes I used to go to the temple a little late, and he used to stand right one door behind the opening door. I open the door and, Prabhu, you have come, Krishna, you have finally come, I was waiting for you. Then we go inside and so devotees are so merciful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know why I went in that direction. Why I went in that direction? Anybody else remembers?
Yes.
I don't know why I remembered him so much. Madhavendra Puri Prabhu.
You're talking about recitation. You are the only one to recite.
The recitation and translation. You know how Madhavendra Prabhu came, but so
Translation. We should do it that way. So what is it? That's how it started. Verse.
yeah, verse by verse, it has to be read. Then it went in that direction. So Srimad Bhagavatam class, yes, I used to attend Srimad Bhagavatam class. That's I'm very happy I remembered him after long. He is my Siksha Guru. So I had two Siksha Gurus at the same time. Near my house it was Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, and near the office it was Madhavendra Prabhu. So double engine Sarkar. It takes so much to convert a Nalgonda Reddy to a devotee. Very difficult. So anyway, yeah. So coming back to this verse, it's beautifully being explained that nature is a cause of all material cause and effects, which means what? Whole shopping mall is already ready. That's what it means. Whatever you want to shop, the mall is already ready. All the aisles are filled with what you want to buy. If you don't control your senses, you'll end up buying one of them. And you are the cause of buying it, not material nature. Material nature is the provider of all. According to the needs of your senses, it provides. Right? So there are two causes here. Cause of all those creation is material nature, but according to your desire. Ultimately, you are responsible for your suffering. You can't blame that Durga is making me suffer. No, Durga is not making me suffer. You asked for her to punish you. You asked for her to punish you. So you get the punishment. Right? So we have to be very, very careful. Very careful. If you're not careful, you can simply get the next body without your knowledge. Because every desire is being calculated and kept. Even when you're parking your car today, if by chance you saw the opposite car and it is BMW, a nice car, finished, next body is ready. Either you're a driver or you're a neighbor or something of the BMW car. So dangerous. You look at somebody, hey, how handsome this person is, khatam, finished. Next body will get like that. You're not able to control one of your senses. Right? One of your senses. You're not able to control your eyes. You'll take birth like a frog, big eyes. You're not able to control your tongue. You get a big tongue. What is it? Chameleon. You go to neighbor's house and win the food. So according to your senses, right? Prabhupada is writing, your senses is deciding your next body. And all these senses are already manufactured. Everything is already there. High velocity, whatever sense that you want. Smelling power, you have to, kya khana bana, smelling. One day you will get a body that can smell the best. Dog. Smell the best, isn't it? Or a tiger. I heard tiger can smell kilometers away, smell of blood. It can just come towards you. Or a bear. Bear can smell kilometers or 10 kilometers away, some blood is there, and the smell will come to it. It is so powerful. Right? So if you are smelling Pani Puri standing 10 feet away, close your nose. This will be there in next life. Right? Very difficult to accept. That's how dangerously we are situated. That's the whole lesson out of this verse. How dangerously we are situated. We can simply misuse our free will and get another body, which will struggle to come back. Right? Anybody wants to share anything? Anything else? Any questions on this verse? 13.22. Purusha prakritisto hi. Purusha prakritisto hi. Bhukte prakriti jan gunan. Bhukte prakriti jan gunan. Karanam guna sangosya. Karanam guna sangosya. Sad asadyoni janmashu. Sad asadyoni janmashu. Repeat the translation after me. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to the association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So the living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life. According to the body that you got, you have to follow that way. Enjoying the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Raja, Tamas, due to the association with that material nature, and this is due to the association with material nature. And thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Really?
Yes. Yes. Cite this. He cited this. He did.
In this situation.
This was the first one.
Some advancement you made. Remember that it is part of Bhakti. Remember the word, but remember the part of Bhakti Shastra.
Syllabus at least.
Huh?
Syllabus at least good.
Yeah, in Telugu, there is an old mimicry series, Satyanana mimicry. In that, the teacher will be asking the students, tell me what did you learn and all that. My student will get up, sir, I'll tell. He said, huh? Get up, you never told anything, get up, tell what is the answer. He said, sir, page padega. So that is what you remember. This the answer is there in that page is fun. I remember that. Sit down. This is part of Bhakti Shastri, but the purport by Jivangi, they say Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please focus. This verse is very important for an understanding of how the living entities transmigrate from one body to another. It is explained in the second chapter that the living entity is transmigrating from one body to another just as one changes dress. What is the verse? That is also there. Vasam Sichirna Niyatha Vihaya Navani Grahanati Naro Parani Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Sirnani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi.
Bhakti Shastra లేదు.
Like the way a living entity changes its dress, leaving the old ones and taking new ones, in the same way the soul also leaves the old body and takes the new body. This verse is very famous in that vehicle. Whenever the Antim Prayanam vehicle comes, it plays that first thing. Vasam Sichirnani Yatha Vihaya. Dead body is being taken, they'll hear that. Like you change the old dress to a new dress. Yes. Yeah. Dehinosmin Yatha Dehi says you change it. You go through different phases in the body, in the same way you also get into the next body. But changing dress is told in this verse. This change of dress is due to his attachment to material existence. As long as he is captivated by the false manifestation, he has to continue transmigrating from one body to another. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances. Wow. See that? Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances. Under the influence of material nature, material desire, the entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird, as a worm, as an aquatic, as a saintly man, as a bug. This is going on. And in all cases, the living entity thinks himself to be the master of his circumstances, yet he is under the influence of material nature. What is Maya? You are thinking that you are controlling everything around you, but you are a fool. You are being controlled completely. Right? I bought this house, I'm in this house. No, you are made to buy this house. You are made to live here. Right? You think that I'm independent in this house. Try being independent, you get a message from somebody in the house. Hey, okay. Something will come. Okay. Salmania? Telugu mein Salmania? क्या कर रहे हो?
गाली पड़ रही है समझ.
संडे आते जैसे बैठे रहे तो कौन करेगा घर का काम? How he is put into different bodies is explained here. It is due to association with different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above the three modes and become situated in the transcendental position. What is the verse? One has to rise, therefore, above the three modes, material modes, and become situated in a transcendental position.
Traigunya
Vishya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvandvanitva Sattvasto, Yoga Kshema Matmavan. Is it part of Bhakti Shastri? No. No? I think it's part of Bhakti Shastri. Is there Traigunya Vishya Veda? I'll send the recording of this class to Ananta Pro. He will ask all the certificates to be retired. So better scan it and keep it down there. Yeah. Yeah. So that is called Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means to rise above the three modes. Rise above goodness, passion, ignorance. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, his material consciousness will oblige him to transfer from one body to another because he has material desires since time immemorial. But he has to change that conception. That change can be effected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example is here. Arjuna is hearing the signs of God from Krishna, the living entity. If he submits to this hearing process, will lose his long cherished desire to dominate material nature, and gradually and proportionately, and he reduces his long desire to dominate. He comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relishes his eternal blissful life. Beautiful words, Prabhupada. It's so beautifully explaining how we can come out of this cycle of birth and death, come out of this longing to enjoy the passionate life, and how we are illusioned that we are actually enjoying here, even as a householder. Actually, people who have taken a male body go through more suffering because you think that you're controllers of this house. Yeah. What is that? Your shield Bhavatan?
Yes.
Tell you. You should go through third canto. Can you give me third canto? Third canto, 30th chapter. You can go to third canto, 30th chapter in Veda base. It's something related to this verse. Or 30th chapter, 30. Can everybody go in vedabase.com? Third canto, 30th chapter. Yes. This is a very heavy chapter. Never read it in public. They'll throw you out of the house. I'll tell you. I'm waiting for the book. Third canto is 2 books probably. Take the second book. Yeah, take the second book. I think it is the second book only. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Yeah, it's in the second 30th chapter. No? So you can go to verse number. Actually, the whole chapter is so. Should we just read the translation?
14.
14 is Tannul Varte. 14 is Tannul Varte. Direct Tannul Vante. Which is starting warm up with them. So this is a householder's life who works in Microsoft. Or works in where do you work for? TCS. Right? Description by Lord Kapila of adverse fruitive activities. So please everybody focus here. Hare Krishna. Everybody focus here. No, we'll directly not go to 14. 14 is too heavy. We'll start from verse number 1. We'll just read the translation. I'm just going to read, no discussion. Just so everybody please focus. The personality of Godhead said, as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of the time factor by which he is carried. So we don't know the greatness of time. Text 2. Whatever is produced by the materialists with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality as a time factor destroys, and for this reason the conditioned soul laments. Are you able to relate to something? Whatever we are working day and night, like dogs, cats, it'll all be taken over time. Text 3. The misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent and that the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which are in relation to the body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. Text number 4. Hare Krishna. The Shubh Nam going?
Rajan.
Raja,
My colleague.
pulling. Is it okay? Reading something very heavy. You promise you'll come to the next class. Then only I'll do.
Sure.
Promise?
Yes.
Look at Jagannath. Because I'm scared, you get run away like this. I don't want to scare anybody.
Sure.
My name is Lilananda.
Nice to meet you.
Text number 4. The living entity, in whatever species of life he appears, finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species. That's exactly what we discussed in the verse, right? Thoda decrease kar do sound level. Hare Krishna, can you all hear me? Yeah? I'm on text number 4. Okay? Yeah. The living entity, in whatever species of life he appears, finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species and is averse to being situated in such a condition. Text number 5. The conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life, while deluded by the covering influence of the illusionary energy. He feels little inclined to cast off his body, even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. Can you imagine what's going on? Right? See, you are like, you got a white skin body. When you look at a Negro, what do you think? What is a Negro thinking? Right? What is the Indian thinking? Telephone or Mix. Everybody is saying Telugu, Hindi.
Yes.
रोज भावना को बहुत से समझते हैं. Text 6. Such satisfaction with one standard of living is due to deep-rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks himself quite perfect. Right? Everything is going right. Text 7. Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with a hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society. Just to maintain, he'll do every nonsense, right, to find that happiness.
What is the meaning of this, which is never to be fulfilled? So what is that particular thing we're talking about fulfilled?
Unending happiness, full satisfaction. It'll never happen. Never happen. You do dance, you do rain dance, you do stone dance, whatever dance, you can never find that happiness. That's what people do, isn't it? Text 8. He gives heart and senses to a woman. In case of woman, man. It's not like one-sided. He gives heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her. And he is enchanted with the sweet words of small children. Broken words of small children. Same thing is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj also in 7th canto. Right? People are very attracted to what? Broken words. Right? That's Maya. Don't think it is broken words. That's Maya. That is what you'll remember for the rest of your life. Maya. Text number 9. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy and politics, always spreading miseries and controlled by acts of sense gratification. He acts just to counteract the reactions of all his miseries. And if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks he is happy. Taken. Samya Savito? Whatever miseries you're getting, you contracting. Every time you win a court case, yes. Court case and ready. Right? That's what happens. So you're always winning and losing, you think you are winning. Text 10. He secures money by committing violence here and there. And although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased. and he goes to hell for those for whom he earned the money in such an irregular way. Right? So he's earning money. For whom? Kisko खिलाने के लिए? Family को. Right? If he just imagine you earned so difficulty, you earned the whole money, and then you come and tell your wife, tomorrow morning I want to eat that curry. What is the answer? No need to tell the answer. Right? But he's thinking, what is he thinking? I am the one who is earning and enjoying. At the end of the day, get this much portion only. इतना ही मिलेगा उसको, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं मिलेगा. ये चना देख रहे हो यार? Right? You're immediately checked and stopped. Right? But he's thinking he's an illusion. What is illusion? I am earning everything. I am the one who is enjoying. He's not enjoying. That's Maya. Text 11. Hare Krishna. Text 11. When he suffers reverses in his occupation, he tries again and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled in all attempts and is ruined, he accepts money from others because of excessive greed. Means what? Credit cards. He accepts money from others.
Loans.
Calculate is credit cards.
Loans.
Loans. Right? Already ఉన్న సరిపోలేదు. Credit cards కూడా కావాలి. Next. Text number 13. 12. Thus the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. Right? When does this happen? Very soon. Okay, already Krishna is end of chapter at end. Anyway, so the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. So what is going on here? Somewhere when you are in your 55, 56, you almost finished your office life. 2 years you'll be thrown out of that office also. Still your wife is not satisfied. Your children are cursing you. "Em chestam ma kosam? What did you do?" And when he looks into the mirror, no matter how much hair dye he puts, skin also has changed. What can he do? Bereft of his beauty, right? And he's thinking of his failure, that he could not do anything in life. Text 13. Seeing himself unable to support them, please focus everybody. Seeing himself unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before. Even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. Ready Gunala? Andar baat kare. Andar baat kare. Manchil na techko po. Leva. Bola techko la manchil. Techi ala ni manchil. समझे?
इस बार नहीं समझे.
इस बार नहीं समझे. तो बैठ के पानी पूछो, जाओ ला लो अपना पानी. क्यों नहीं उठ सकते? जा सकते? पूरा होने वाला. कब होने वाला है?
55 plus.
55-56. Text number 14. Hare Krishna. Text number 14. The foolish family man does not become averse to the family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained. Even then he is not averse to family life. Such is attachment. Deformed by the influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. Right? He's completely deformed. Levaledu, kuchaledu, pankoledu, angeledu. Text number 15. Thus he maintains, thus he remains. Now see this. This is one of my favorite verses. Thus he remains at home just like a pet dog and eats whatever is so negligently given to him. Afflicted by many illnesses such as dyspepsia and loss of appetite, he eats only very small morsels of food and he becomes an invalid who cannot work anymore. Right? जो फेंक दिया वो खा लिया. And even if he wants, he can't eat more. Text number 16. In that diseased condition, one's eyes bulge due to the pressure of air from within, and his glands become congested with mucus. He has difficulty breathing, and upon exhaling and inhaling, he produces a sound, gur, gur, a rattling within the throat. Right? Sushina, sound of the because his mucus is so much filled his throat, he can't even breathe properly. Right? Bhagavatam is saying this. Right? What a revelation. That's what will happen in old age. And eyes will bulge out. Have you seen old people eyes? They'll come outside. They'll start popping outside. Right? That's because of the pressure of air from within. Congested glands. Translation, text 17. In this way, he comes under the clutches of death and lies down, surrounded by lamenting friends and relatives. And although he wants to speak with them, he no longer can because he's under the control of time. Text 18. Thus, the man who engaged with uncontrolled senses is maintaining a family, dies in great grief, seeing his relatives crying. He dies most pathetically in great pain and without consciousness. Text 19. At death, he sees the messengers of the Lord of death come before him, their eyes full of wrath, and in great fear, he passes stool and urine. Have you seen many dead bodies? They pass stool and urine. Because they saw Yamadutas. It's not like at that time they got stool, they went, no. Everything comes out. Text 20. As a criminal is arrested by punishment by the constables of the state, a person engaged in criminal sense gratification is similarly arrested by the Yamadutas, who blind him by the neck with strong rope and cover his subtle body so that he may undergo severe punishment. Hare Krishna. Text 21. While carried by the constables of Yamaraj, he is overwhelmed and trembles in his hands. While passing on the road, he is bitten by dogs and he can remember the sinful activities of his life. He is thus terribly distressed. Text 22. Under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through roads of hot sand and forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of his inability to walk and is afflicted by hunger and thirst. But unfortunately, there is no drinking water, no shelter, no place for the rest on the road. Whom are we talking about? Government matters. Isn't it? Mana gurinchi matters. This is what will happen if we lead a materialistic life. Text 23. While passing on the road to the abode of Yamaraj, he falls down in fatigue. And sometimes he becomes unconscious, but is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraj. It takes roughly 13 months as per our calculation. Right? Thus, he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments, and then he at once engaged in the torturous punishment which is destined to suffer. He is placed in the midst of the burning piece of wood and his limbs are set on fire. In some cases, he has to eat his own flesh or have it eaten by others. Gross 26.
जो घोड़ी ये मिलकर बोलते Reach the body मिलता है, right? After 30 months, we reach there. Before that, we got that body.
Preta body, you get a Preta body. For the travel, you get Preta body. So you're taken in another body. The speciality of Preta body is it can take more and more suffering. See, now, if Yamadutas will slap me, I'll faint and die right now. They don't want that. They want to slap, I should get up. Again slap, I should again get up. That kind of body I'll get. Huh?
Yeah.
Yatana body. So, Preta body, it's all Preta body. Preta Sharif. So we'll get the pain, but we'll also stand up again. Maligotu. Maligotu matlab fir maro.
When does the transition happens to the next body? After this punishment stage? Or how is it?
This is a journey. Journey you'll reach there.
Yes.
Then Yamaraj will decide whether to keep you on your bench or next available role. Bench means he'll put your, what is it, Pitra Loka.
Benches.
Yeah. So otherwise we'll go to Gachibowli. Huh?
ABCD Pythagoras theorem.
Again he has to go to school. He has to learn Pythagoras theorem.
After
I was on the lighter side, don't take it as. I always keep repeating. These days, one person in our satsang, in Krishi, Mayam Krishi, he told me, Prabhu, the only thing I like in your class is you tell Tellapur, Gachibowli, Kundapur. You repeat all these words. I told him, see, I was telling those words to tell people, not to invest there. But because of my classes, some people have got villas also. I'll not be surprised. Somebody calls me from US and says, I heard your class. What is the current rate now? I'm joking, bro. We're all in the same, whatever. It's difficult. We have to go through this.
How is the journey with Vishnu Duta? We talked about the journey with Yamduta, right? This description.
Yeah.
Which all planets do we cover with Vishnu Duta?
Vishnu, you don't cover any plan. Directly go to Vaikuntha. Direct flight.
the plane.
Okay.
Then he wants to know which ones they show, like on
On the way.
the way. Like,
All ISKCON temples will see. All ISKCON temples will see. All planets, all ISKCON temples will see. You'll see Prabhupada doing it. Very good. Chal aaja.
Probably somewhere it is explained that even when you go on this along with Vishnu Dutas, you will have to reach probably Yamaloka at one point, and Yamaraj will offer obeisances and guide you to the Vaikuntha, something like that. It is there in our SSR secrets of death also. Yeah. Everybody is taken to Yamaraj. And only after his clearance and devotees, he offers obeisances himself and he guides to the next level.
this program will be taken to the Vaikuntha, which is in material world. And after that, he will perform pastime along with the Lord. Then he will
Training.
go back.
Then training. We have training ground. We directly don't go. We'll be given one more time to get trained. How to behave, the etiquettes, everything is trained. Right? Yeah. I don't know about the Yamaraj part. Normally devotees never see Yamaraj. It says. Yeah. See, there is a pastime of Janaka Maharaj leaving the world, and on the way he hears crying and shouts of souls in Yamaloka. So he becomes very worried and becomes very concerned. Becomes very concerned. There he prays to Yamaraj that, please, can you relieve all of them? If you want, I can come. Something like that happens. There's a conversation. I heard this long time back. I don't want to misinterpret, but something like that. But it's not like you have to see Yamaraj. And Yamaraj is Yamaloka is not a place where everybody is being tried. It's not like that. Maybe you will see him. He's a devotee. Yamaraj is a great devotee. And he honors, he's a Mahajan. And he honors devotees. Right? You might see Yamaraj. There's nothing wrong seeing Yamaraj.
That's what you mentioned.
Yeah. But we are talking here about software architects and HR managers, finance managers. So he entails, his entrails are pulled out by the hounds and vultures of hell, even though he is still alive to see it. Oh my God. He is subjected to torments by serpents, scorpions, gnats, and other creatures and that bite him. I think we'll stop it here. The purpose of me coming to this is already fulfilled. About how we get the next body. That's what I wanted to discuss. This is about travel to hell. You don't need to discuss all this. If you're interested, you can go to Canto 3, 30th chapter and continue reading at your home. Srimad Bhagavatam 3. So why did we go here? Is because this verse is talking about it. This verse is talking that if we are not vigilant in our choices, even though we are part of a satsang, still we can easily get diverted. Can easily get diverted. The senses are so powerful, and bad association is so powerful. It's very natural for us right now to go towards bad. It's very highly unnatural to pull ourselves towards good. But once we go to a certain point, then good will automatically keep pulling us, and it becomes natural for us to go towards good and unnatural to accept anything bad. But right now we are in a very, very vulnerable state. I'm sorry, I'm using the word we, but you have to self-contemplate, what stage you are in. Some devotees, they generally don't go towards bad. I've seen such devotees. And they're very advanced devotees. They are very clear. They don't want any nonsense. Very clear. They come to Krishna consciousness, satsang, and they'll keep going forward. So can you ask her to sit down?
Like this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have to be very vigilant. Asatsanga is very, very important. Part of. You want to say something? Yeah. Asatsanga is very, very important. Important to not to have. Asatsanga is very, very important. Asatsanga is not important, and it is very important not to have it. If you have it, then you'll be pulled. See, yesterday's Holiness Trivikram Swami Maharaj was saying, right? Even the sannyasis were affected. Sannyasis who walked with Prabhupada, who served Prabhupada, after Prabhupada left, even sannyasis got affected. So what am I? Sitting here and thinking, I think my senses are controlled. Prabhuji, I think my nose and ears are okay. My eyes are 50% done. Tongue only I have to work a little. I think I'm okay now. Finish. If I start thinking like that, I'm gone. Right? And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that even if one sense is not controlled, even if one sense, what is that verse? I think it's in 6th chapter. Is that right? Even if one sense is left uncontrolled, it can drive away the whole body. Can we search that while the prasadam is being offered? Yeah. No problem. What is that verse number? Anybody can search? You can directly Google. Even one uncontrolled sense can drive away the soul. What is it verse? Sixth chapter? Or 8th chapter? No, not 8th. 5th chapter? Bhagavad Gita. It is there in Bhagavad Gita. Could not find?
You will need 2.67.
2nd chapter? What is it? Once again. 2.67.
Just that strong wind keeps a boat off its chartered course on the water. Even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can leave the intellect and carry away the mind.
2.67.
Indriyanam
Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidhiyate tad asya harati prajñam vayur navam ivam vashi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, Even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Hare Krishna. That is the purport. Unless all the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. As mentioned in the life of Maharaj Ambrisha, all the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is the correct technique for controlling the mind. 267. You try to remember that. Right? How clearly it is told. And what is the sense which is the most difficult to control? How many accept it is difficult to control? Very difficult. How much ever you do, tomorrow morning, what is the breakfast? That is the biggest question mark.
Now, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Now what is?
No, what is the dinner? Yeah, अभी आए आते ही सोच के आया तब को बाहर बैठा था रस्ता के घंटे से पहले आएगा मालिक yeah, tongue is the most difficult to control, and tongue is attached to your belly and the same muscle going all the way to genitals. You can't control tongue, then you cannot control your belly. Look at me. You can't control your belly, it's impossible to control genitals. Prabhupada told, if you are becoming obese, means you will find it very difficult to control your sex desire. It's true. You can't say that, I'm different. You're not different. We're all part of the same thing, and it's very difficult to control all your desires. Your tongue is very, very important. It has to be checked. Otherwise, you can't control the rest.
ప్రభుజీ కొంచెం ఏజ్ వచ్చాక కంట్రోల్ తిని తిని సడన్ ఏజ్ వచ్చాక పంచపక్ష పరమాణం పడదనేస్తారు
అని ఆమెకు నచ్చిన పచ్చడి ఉంటుంది అది అక్కడే కాదు ఎంత తింటున్నావు అన్నది ముఖ్యం కాదు, ఏం తింటున్నా అన్నది ముఖ్యం. ఎక్కడ మర్చిపోయినా బుల్లెట్ దిగిందా దిగలేదా అది ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంతే. అది ఎంత తింటున్నావు అన్నది ముఖ్యం కాదు, ఎన్ని కోరుకుంటున్నావు ముఖ్యం కాదు, దేని పట్ల ఆకర్షణ ఉన్నది అన్నది ముఖ్యం. అది ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ అట్రాక్టెడ్ టు సంథింగ్, ఎండాకాలం ఆవకాయ పచ్చడి తినకపోతే అయిపోయింది లైఫ్. అంతే అట్లా థింక్ లైక్ దట్ అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ లైఫ్ విల్ బి వార్మ్ ఇన్ మ్యాంగో. అంతే కదా. నీకు మామిడికాయ పచ్చడి కాదు, అంతే మామిడికాయలు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ కానీ మామిడికాయలో పురుగు లోపట్నే ఉంటుంది, మొత్తం ఆవకాయ. దట్ ఈస్ ద లైఫ్. ఇట్స్ వెరీ డేంజరస్. Everything we are desiring and we'll get the next body. I was going to say something. What did we just read? One of the senses, even if one of the senses is left alone, it can drive away the whole intelligence. Today maestro one just now we remembered you, bro. Really
1,000 years.
ఎందుకు బ్రో 1000 years ఇప్పుడే చాప్టర్ చదివిన మరి. Where does he enjoy? Shri Krishna, anticipating this question, says Tatishu Sad Asad, in the species who have higher consciousness such as sadhus or devatas, or asatishu, in the species whose consciousness is lower than the animals and birds. So that's where you try to enjoy. Either you go up or you go down. Both the places you're trying to enjoy. As a devata you're trying to enjoy, or as a lower species you're trying to enjoy. But the tendency to enjoy is there. See, the problem is we can't keep quiet. We will keep searching for source of enjoyment. Somewhere we'll try to find it. And if you find it through Krishna conscious devotees and Krishna conscious satsangs and Krishna prasadam, you are saved. Yeah, I actually I got diverted. So there is one shloka which says, when I was discussing with the tongue, it says the whole purity starts from food. Can anyone remember what shloka that is?
Yes.
Ah. The whole purity starts from what you eat. Okay. No. Let us.
That is about chanting.
No. It is
Chanting and prasadam both.
Yes, but it is.
No, but that's not the shloka. That's in Upadeshamrita.
Nectar of instruction.
It's an Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction.
Devotion.
Devotion.
Tongue used for food and that is.
Yeah, but there is a verse which specifically says that our entire consciousness depends on what we eat and from where we eat. Everything depends on. That is the reason sadhus, they don't eat in anybody's house. They are very particular about where they eat, who is cooking it. Like in US, when we had satsangs, I wanted to call Yugal Kishore Prabhu to our house. Initial days only. So I think it was just 2 months or something. I told Prabhuji, next time please come to our house. Then he said, okay, like this. But I understood that he did not want to answer. Then I asked my Siksha Guru. He told, unless your wife is chanting 16 rounds, he will not take that food. So most of the devotees have this condition. That unless you are chanting 16 rounds, they will not go to that house and accept anything. Right? Most 99% of devotees have that. Senior devotees. Brahmachari is so pakka. First of all, they will not eat anywhere outside. And even if they have to eat in some devotee's house, that person has to chant minimum 16 rounds and maintain the regulatory principles. And all that. Rahasham Prabhu is, he has Ayurvedic reasons also why he doesn't. Actually, brahmacharis, a lot of them, they have tortured their bodies in the initial days. And unfortunately, they pay the price when they get into their 50s. They can't eat anything. They can't eat once. What is it? What is the Prabhuji's name? Krishnanand Prabhu. I think Krishnanand Prabhu. You also told the same name?
Yes.
How did you know? What you
Just
wanted to tell?
intuition.
So something you wanted to tell that Prabhuji told?
No, he's also almost similar, very austere and
Yeah, very austere.
that's why I
So once
was-
Krishnanand Prabhu told in a jovial way, right? When we were young and we could eat everything, we did not eat because we are running behind tapasya. And now we want to eat and nobody gives anything. It's just, like joking and telling. Yeah. But very important provision is what you eat. Actually, we should learn from Christians. They have more faith in our prasadam than us. Isn't it?
Yes.
While waiting into going, go with that. Isn't it? They have more faith that our prasadam works. Yes. If we have the same faith, we'll become more Krishna conscious. They very clearly tell, don't take their food. Should not take their food. They preach that. Directly they preach it. So, because they know that if they eat our prasadam, they'll become devotee. They'll get intelligence. Then they can understand who is the real cheater. Right? So our prasadam is so powerful. So there is a verse actually in Bhagavatam. I forgot. Huh? No, they know. They have more faith in our prasadam. We don't have faith. That is the problem. Right?
Even the food what they are eating now, probably likes of Radhesham Prabhuji and all, I've seen he brings separate box. Radhesham Prabhuji. When what is the food they are eating right now, Prasadam, what they are eating right now? Is it? I hope they are not maintaining the same austere standards when they used to do before joining.
That's what problem. Like right now, they are in a position that
As per
you know,
the health condition.
they have to maintain that austerity in order to continue their service. If they eat like
Not
how I eat, they won't survive for a month. They have to be very austere to limitly eat, and what they eat is also very particular. Once what is His Holiness Bhaktiraj Samrit Maharaj came to US, so we were given the opportunity to cook for him, and the servant sent a list. We asked, "Can you please send what Maharaj eats?" He sent a list of what Maharaj doesn't eat. Wow, brave! Like after reading that whole thing, I called Prabhu. Tell what is he can eat. They're telling everything looks to be doesn't eat. No? What should we cook? Okay, everything we use is like no. Don't use this. Don't use that. Don't use this. Don't use that. Don't use this. Don't use that. What does he eat? Tell simply. Then he told, okay, do this. You said, you should have told that. Supermarket dikha diya, you know. So because they have Ayurvedic reasons. And Prabhu, they are dealing with materialistic people, right? Like just imagine the life of Gaur Gopal Prabhu. He's standing and two girls will come stand close by him. One selfie please, and like this. He's dealing with people. He's a brahmachari. At the end of the day, he's a brahmachari, right? And he has to be very careful how he is maintaining his brahmacharya. So they eat things which will not invoke that desire. They're very particular about it, right? And we should be respectful about it. And don't ever serve brahmacharis when they say no. Either you can anyway do. Look at me. Right? Jagannath Baldev Sudramai ki Shaligram ki jai, Shivatu Gopal ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Yes. So, normally, Mataji, a small thing you can take. One thing, when you remove the prasadam, no, you again bring it from God all the way to Guru and then you take it. Just show it once. I also learned it from him. You don't directly take the plate and go. Yeah. What was he saying? Yeah. So you have to maintain austerity.
Gaur Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, Gaur Gopal. Many, actually, every sannyasi, there. For example, Niranjan Swami Maharaj, he is very restricted in his diet. He only eats fruits for his breakfast. That's all. And he eats after 8 o'clock or something. Not before that. Right? Once one devotee was like, Maharaj, please come for breakfast in the home. Please, Maharaj. Maharaj was like, no. Then he was, Maharaj, please come. Don't you understand? Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. My Guru Maharaj is always Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He is like, if devotees are calling with love and affection, he says, okay. That is why you should first speak to his servants before you talk to Maharaj. Many times, some senior devotees say that he ate, he came back and he vomited. Everything. Like Maharaj, no, they have made it with so much love. How can I say no? They are giving, so how can I say no? Like that. So just because they're eating doesn't mean that they like it. Actually, they don't like it. They are not after food. At least they are not after food. Right? Prashadam, yes, but then we are very limited. They have very like his own as Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. He has a time to take his dinner. I think it's 6 o'clock. It was 6 o'clock when he came to US once. 6 o'clock he has soup. 6 o'clock he has soup. I'm again repeating. 6 o'clock he has soup. 6.01 second he will not have that soup. He will not have that soup. He's so particular. So it so happened that he came for a class and he was giving the class and we were in Srinivasacharya Prabhu's house. Charlotte Srinivasacharya Prabhu. Yeah. So it was my job to make the soup ready and keep it ready in that room. So Maharaj was giving a class that side. And we were like, should we disturb Maharaj or no? So 6 o'clock he has to have soup. His servant told, 6 o'clock Maharaj take soup, keep it ready. And it should be lukewarm. It should not be too hot. It should not be less. If everything, now it was lukewarm, now it is becoming cold. After some time it becomes cold. What do you do? Like, it is lukewarm. Then the servant said, call Maharaj. What is giving class? Call Maharaj, he said. Yes. Maharaj, yes. He got up and he came and he had soup. He had soup, then he went and started the class again. At that time, he has to have soup. And it's very simple, not like a soup that we will desire. Yeah, very simple, very simple. Hardly anything that you'll appreciate in there. Right? And then he had that. That's it. That's all. That's offered to Krishna. He has it and done. His dinner is done. Right? And then he gives the class. One devotee, his own disciple, just few seconds probably. He came, he was invited to take the soup, he came, he looked at the watch, he got up and left. That's it. It was few seconds away. He's so particular. No means no. It is very dangerous for my health after a certain time. What I eat. Because if they don't maintain that, they can't preach. Their focus is to use this body in service of Krishna. And they're very clear about it. They're not two-minded. Some devotees go to satsang only to eat. Yeah. Initially that happens. Nilesh Prabhu told, I used to go to temple only to eat. No class. Only prasad. Exact time. He'll go eat and he'll go. One day while eating that Prabhuji told, why don't you come to class also? 6 years. 6 years you're eating. One day you come to class. Then one day he went to class, okay, khatam. Huh? Now he's cooking. He only told me. So yeah, some people, you're attracted to prasadam, that's okay, but you also have to hear. So eating, controlling the tongue is very, very important in spiritual life. Otherwise, it will drag you to hell. That one thing will drag you to hell if you don't control. But that is what you control your belly, and that is what controls your sex desire, and the whole other senses get activated. Have you realized that the day you do upavas, your chanting is good? Have you observed that, anybody?
Yes.
On Ekadashi, one of those Ekadashis, when you don't eat anything at all, or any disappearance day of Acharya, you don't eat till 12 o'clock. That day your chanting will be very good. The day you eat, the moment grain goes inside, it gets converted to semen. And then your body is all looking for sense gratification. Your consciousness is polluted. That is the reason they just control it with diet. Everything is controlled through diet. Yeah.
Only the Mahadas or Brahmacharis who are old, very senior, are almost in a ripening age group, almost 70, 80, where even standard they maintain. Of course, it must be fast. Since they are nearing point, I'm just suspecting, is there anything that they should not eat at all? Leaving is easy, body leaving is easy.
Yeah. See, as you grow old, your your energy to digest goes down, right? I'm not an Ayurvedic teacher. I might tell wrong, somebody can correct me, but you can't digest as fast. You can't digest as nicely. So it's better to eat less. As you grow. I also have been advised now. I'm 46 and I'm already obese. I have to bring it down. So I have to eat less. I have to portion it. I have to do a lot of changes. I cannot be the same old person. For that matter, actually I'm not eating like I used to eat. Still I'm becoming obese. I don't know how. But I have realized how, because the body has changed. Change. So now I have to change. If I don't change, I'll pay the price. Same thing with old people also. They have to, because they can't digest. Yeah. Anyway, the topic is different. Point here is, one is food, second is from where it comes. Right? Is it offered in the right consciousness? Is it offered? Prabhupada was very, very particular about food. Very particular. Once his food, his afternoon lunch got delayed, he shouted at that Mataji, Prabhupada. Chastised Mataji. Never it happened that Prabhupada chastised, especially a Mataji, who is cooking for him. And then the Mataji started crying. And then Prabhupada later on, after having prasadam, he told, I chastised because I was hungry. And when you're hungry and food doesn't come, that hunger converts into disease. So when you're hungry, you should eat. You should not starve. The Jatragni has started. Stove is lit. Now you have to keep the bartan on the top. Something has to cook. And if you're not cooking, it leads into disease. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita also it is told that chapter, I think 18th chapter, that if you do austerity against your body, that's a sin. Right? So fake upavasas. Whatever fight you have in the house, don't stop eating. husband and wife, ఎంత కుక్కలా కొట్లాడుకున్నా సరే తినండి, తిని వండుకోండి. Right? Don't try to use upavas as an alternate for your anger. A lot of people do that. No, because it's a body. It needs to be maintained. Has a time to eat, time to. Upavas has to be done only on Acharya appearances days, disappearances days. What is that?
Ekadashi.
Ekadashis, right? Festivals. That is okay. They are designed on that day. It's right time to do. Not because you are doing some political dharna. You know, that's all violence. That's in mode of ignorance.
मुझे कुछ खा के गुस्सा शांत भी हो जाता है,
हाँ?
गुस्सा शांत भी हो जाता है if you eat something.
Yeah. उसको थोड़ा प्रसाद दे दो. Oh, it's not audible? Achha, achha. Yeah, it's almost done. Actually, tomorrow, my wife and coincidentally, Mahesh wife, both of them are getting some operations done tomorrow. Yeah. So please pray for them that they nicely go over it and come back recovered and cook nicely.
Let's chant 3 times. Sorry.
Yeah.
3 times.
No, not really. Just in the mind. Let's pray for them. Yeah. We all need to pray for each other. We both chalu nahi hota hai. We're all in our 50s, you know, 40s, 50s. We were pura playing hi chalne wala hai. Yeah. Did I read the purport of this verse?
Yes.
23.
We did not read the verse itself.
I did not read the verse.
No, we did not read it.
Okay.
Bhakti.
Bhakti yours. Yeah. Upadrashta anumantascha bharta bhokta maheshwara bharta bhokta maheshwara Paramatma iti chapi yukto Paramatma iti chapi yukto Dehi asmin purusha para Dehi asmin purusha para Translation repeat after me. Yet in this body there is another a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord the supreme proprietor who exists as the overseer and permitter and who is known as the super soul. A lot of people say there is only one soul, you are that God, you are inside. So clearly, so many verses in 13th chapter are saying there is you and there is God. Right? Purport. It is stated here that the super soul, who is always with the individual soul, is a representation of the Supreme Lord. He is not an ordinary living entity. Because the monist philosophers take the knower of the body to be one, they think that there is no difference between the super soul and the individual soul. To clarify this, the Lord says that he is represented as Paramatma in every body. He is different. He is different from the individual soul. He is para, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field, but the super soul is present not as finite enjoyer, nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as a witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma, and he is transcendental. It is distinctly clear that the Atma and Paramatma are different. The super soul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not. And because the Paramatma is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul's desiring material enjoyment. Without the sanction of the Supreme Soul, the individual soul cannot do anything. The individual is Bhukta, or the sustained, and the Lord is Bhokta, or the maintainer. There are innumerable living entities, and he is staying in them as a friend. What is that Bhagavad Gita verse? That Bhokta. Yeah. Yes. Was it part of us?
Yes.
The fact is that every living entity, every individual living entity is eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and both of them are very intimately related as friends. But the living entity has a tendency to reject the sanction of the Supreme Lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate nature. And because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. The living entity can be situated either in the material energy or in the spiritual energy. As long as he is conditioned by the material energy, the Supreme Lord, as his friend, the super soul, stays with him just to get him to return to the spiritual energy. The Lord is always eager to take him back to the spiritual energy. But due to his minute independence, the living entity is continually rejecting the association of spiritual light. The misuse of independence is the cause of his material strip in the conditioned nature. The Lord, therefore, is always giving instruction from within and from without. From without, he gives instructions as stated in Bhagavad Gita. And from within, he tries to convince the living entity that his activities in the material field are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your faith towards me, and then you will be happy, he says. Thus, the intelligent person who places his faith in the Paramatma or the Supreme Personality of Godhead begins to advance towards a blissful eternal life of knowledge. So very clearly it is being told that Supreme Lord is a sanctioner, he is there within us. Right? This is one of the main points in the purport, and I wanted to repeat one part. As I was reading, I was thinking I'll repeat it. Yeah. This part. The living entity can be situated either in mental energy as long as the conditions of mental energy. The Lord is eager, yes. The Lord is always eager to take him back to the spiritual energy, but due to his minute independence, the living entity is continually rejecting the association of spiritual light. So two things is being told in this line. One is, what is Krishna always trying to do? Krishna is not sitting there and sanctioning and enjoying it. Okay, today he sanctioned 10 times, tomorrow he sanctioned 12 times. That's not what Krishna's business. God's job is not to sanction. He sanctions though, because without his sanction, nothing will move. But his main desire is us to go back. Very clearly it is being mentioned by Prabhupada. We have to go back. Then only we'll make Krishna happy. So you can do donations, you can do great projects for Krishna, you can do lot of homams, mudras, mantras, whatever. You can be a scholar in Shastra, but you're not preferred to going back to him, is not happy. If you're not surrendering to go back to Krishna, then all your satsang is bogus. That's all it is. You have to surrender. Surrender is when your spiritual life actually becomes meaningful. Otherwise, all these activities, even pious materialism. Radhesham Prabhu uses the word pious materialism many times. Right? Giving donations, conducting festivals. All these things, even pious materialists do. The only difference between pious materialist and devotee is surrender to go back. Surrender to hear to his guru. Surrender to a guru, not gurus. A guru is very clear that this guru is going to take me back, and he begs to that guru, please give me diksha. Because you are the only hope who can guide me to take me back. Should be very focused. You have a Atmika Buddhi. It should be like very, very focused in spiritual life. Then you will go back. Then only Krishna will be happy. Remember that one thing. Satsang bote Devudu Ananda padtadu. At least he came to Satsang, he'll be happy. But you'll really make Krishna happy when you actually plan to go back to him. Right? Our parents will be happy when we go to our parents. So Krishna is our original parent. He wants us back. in the spiritual world. Until we go there, he is not happy. Until we go there. Whatever else we do here, ultimately we should go back to him. Otherwise, he'll not be. What is the use of your donation, your emotion, whatever, You can do Bharatanatyam dancer, you can be you can be a great singer, you can be a great musician, you can do the best kirtan, your kirtan will make 10 people cry. If you don't have an intention of going back to Krishna, he's not going to be happy. Okay, very clear. Prabhupada is telling. Prabhupada is writing it. He's sitting as Paramatma with only one purpose. What is the purpose?
Ensuring go back.
And he's telling what? He's telling in the last line. Just give it up and turn your faith towards me. Then you will be happy. Keep your faith in me. Then you'll be happy. Right? Come back to me. And another thing in that line is, but due to his minute independence, the living entity is conditioned and rejecting the spiritual end. So don't think we are independent in a lot of ways. We are not independent too much. Zyada nahi hai apna independence, Hare. We are not too independent. Don't think we are super independent. Prabhu, our independence is so flickering and so small. Just imagine, your senses are already throwing you in 10 directions. And already Maya Devi is putting all the 3 modes of material nature and so many choices in front of you. Right? Today night, you are going to eat that what is there on the plate. You are not independent. Your senses already seen what is on the plate. Right? Sense has seen the sense object. Khatam. Until it sees the sense object only, you can stop. Once it sees, it's between sense and the sense object. Vishya vinvartante nirarasya dehina. Param Drishta Nivartate. Yeah, that is like to control. Param Drishta Nivartate. There is another Dhyaito Vishyo Pumsan Sanghasya Upajayate. The moment it focuses, it finds that sense object. After that, you're only a witness of it enjoying. You can't do anything. Right? So here, your independence is very little. You are thinking that you're independent. You're not independent. We are in illusion that we are independent. Krishna can make us, if really he wants to, test, he doesn't need to test us. We'll be running away for small things. Small things. Right? One day when Prabhuji was explaining, when Prabhuji is giving class, all Prabhujis are sitting and hearing the class. Attentive philosophy. And one beautiful lady just enters the room and says, is Mataji's class in that room or this room? And all the Prabhujis, that's it, finished. What is their independence? Tell me. There is no independence. You're gone. All that philosophy, 30th chapter, 3rd canto that we read, pura bol gaya, khatam. Finish. Similarly, when women, Matajis, the Prabhuji was saying, all Matajis are hearing the class like this attentively. One small child comes into the class, and then they put finish. All philosophy gone. The moment they look at the small child, okay. Oh, you. Sometimes they do, So mother will sit in the front, one mother will bring her child. Another mother. पूरा क्लास गया भाड़ में बच्चे को लेके डांस करो. That's the reason. That's what happened. Our senses are not in our control. Senses are not in our control. That's why in ISKCON, we say, if somebody is bringing a small child, sit in the back. Mother and the child can sit in the back, right in the back. Do whatever dance you want to do there. We should be careful, otherwise next life we'll be the child. Right? So our senses are, what I'm trying to tell is, we think we are independent, but we are not independent. We can be played around like this, Is a kite independent in the sky? Kinch what the kinch, deal what the deal. Kite is thinking, I am independent. What will you laugh or no? We are like that kite in the hands of Maya. Jab mara kinch, jab mara deal. Jab mara page. Everything, we are totally in her hands. Our independence is very minute, Prabhu. Just imagine, very minute our independence. And that minute independence, Krishna is telling, look at me and depend on me and you'll be happy. That minute independence, he's telling, just in that independence, because already your senses are attracted to food, your senses are attracted to good, beautiful things. Your senses are attracted to completely full. And Mahadev is already presenting all options in front of you. So already sense objects, all marriage is over. In that situation, one devotee is coming and telling, will you come to satsang? What is the probability? What is the probability you'll go? Very difficult. That's why somebody coming to satsang means in Kali Yuga, in Madhapur, very difficult. Very difficult somebody coming to satsang. Right? But Yugal Kishore Prabhu, my Shiksha Guru, he always says, I am not surprised. I will not be surprised if Lilananda leaves Krishna consciousness. Every time I see him, surprised how you are still in Krishna consciousness. You cannot doubt us to it. You prove it will not be a surprise if suddenly you see me on the road doing some nonsense. Don't be surprised. That is natural. It will be surprising if in 2024 I am still doing satsangs. Because senses are so powerful. Senses are so powerful. Our independence is so limited. One offense against a devotee. One devotee sitting here, if I commit offense, finish. Bida, Chana acting jishna, chal. Finish, spiritual life khatam. We are in such vulnerable situation. Because in satsang we are dealing with two-edged sword. Already one edge is very powerful. Another edge is devotee. If you mishandle a devotee, mishandle a devotee means what? Mishandle a devotee means what? What is mishandling a devotee?
Taking for
You
granted.
are becoming a obstacle in his spiritual.
His spiritual journey. If you discourage anybody from making spiritual progress, khatam. Finish. Then after that, whatever you do, your chanting quality will go down slowly. You will be out of the satsang. Anybody, at any stage. First thing, when your interest in satsang is decreasing, your interest in brands will go up. ఏం కారణం అది కొంచెం మంచి బ్రాండ్ పోదాం ఏం బట్టలు మనవి కొంచెం మంచి బ్రాండ్ పోదాం ఏం ఫ్రిడ్జ్ మనది కొంచెం మంచి బ్రాండ్ పోదాం బ్రాండ్స్ బ్రాండ్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ సింబల్ ఆఫ్ pride, right? Yeah, brands will go up. First indication. Second, you will start choosing which satsang to go, right? FOBs, festival only devotees, FODs. Festival nobody, right? Or SODs, senior devotees only satsang. Then then only they'll come. Normal satsang they'll not come. And some are AODs, anniversary only devotees. Only when there is an anniversary they'll appear. Or BODs, birthday only devotees. They'll appear. These are all indications of pardon. I'm telling you, this is how it starts. First brands, then choosing satsang. Which satsang to go, which satsang not to go.
Okay.
Right? Once Gaurgopal Prabhu was telling, I got an opportunity to drop him, very little association I have. So I asked him a question, Prabhu, how do you deal with so much publicity and so much fame, name, everything? He said, my Guru Maharaj told me, attend Bhagavatam class every day, no matter who is giving it. Finish. That will slice my falsity. So every day, wherever he is, he'll attend the Bhagavatam class. Instruction of a Guru. He only asks this, I'm dealing with so much Maya now, and so much so how should I attend Bhagavatam class every single day? And hear it attentively, right? And you will be taken care. Yeah. So that is how much we should surrender to the, to the instruction. And that instruction will save you. And after that, whatever happens, he's grounded always. He's always grounded. I get it. 4.5 million subscribers. Worldwide, what do you call that? Guru. so many books, young, he is still a young person, right? Can be attracted. You just imagine a situation. I can't imagine being in a situation and not exploiting that opportunity, right? What keeps him grounded is sadhana and strong faith in Guru's instruction. So we have to be very careful. And our independence is very minute. Prabhupada is using the word minute independence. Minute. Swalpam. Independence. Actually, we don't have any independence. Already we are done deal. Krishna knows. Thoda natak kiya, somebody will come, bhag jayenge aise. Khatam. But he is still, actually Krishna is protecting us. Krishna is protecting us from fall downs. Every time Krishna is coming in between, somehow is protecting us from fall down. If you all observe your spiritual life, you'll observe many times, you're almost about to give up and something happens and he protects you. And if you still fall down, then he says, Malli protects you. He doesn't give up. Yes, brother.
There's a contradiction. In lecture I heard somewhere, I forgot it from there, once you associate in any association or once you come to a Krishna consciousness, Krishna will never leave you. But still we are seeing people are falling down and they are going out from the.
But Krishna will not leave you. That is still true.
But how come they are going out from the.
No, still he will not leave you. He will not leave you. You cannot do anything, you cannot do any mistake which Krishna can't pardon. But don't take advantage of it.
I just want to understand that.
Yes, Prabhu. We cannot leave Krishna. How can we leave Krishna? We are part of Krishna. It's only a question of going back to Krishna. When we'll go back. We can't leave Krishna, even if you want to leave. Even the most envious person can't leave Krishna. All the materialistic people that you see around who are not coming to satsang, do you think they can leave Krishna? You think Krishna has left them? No. Krishna is very much in their heart, still motivating them. Go, come back. Motivating them. They cannot leave Krishna. Nobody can leave Krishna. And devotees who commit Vaishnava Aparadha also are not left by Krishna. But Krishna feels very concerned for them because they are coming down many steps by doing that Vaishnava Aparadha. Any other Aparadha may be little thoda idhar udhar. But Vaishnava Aparadha means you are disturbing the whole school. Krishna's institution. ISKCON is Krishna's institution. ISKCON is society for Krishna consciousness. You're disturbing ISKCON society. Bida, go down for a good ride.
Probably such person, how many times we can ask them, please come.
You cannot ask.
Right?
You can pray for them.
Okay.
People are going out. I see so many going out. I have a little experience in Krishna. Already I have seen so many going out. In front of my eyes, Anna, Satsang, stand up. None of you have not taken me with you. Right. People live. You can't stop. Once I asked this question to Radhesham Prabhu, how can anybody leave spiritual world? I asked him. How is it possible, Prabhu? You are in spiritual world. You are with Krishna. You are enjoying with Krishna. Krishna is in front of you. Radharani is there. Gopas are there. Gopis are there. How can you leave spiritual world? He simply answered one answer. If people can leave Gachibowli Satsang, they can leave Krishna also. To tell me, he told like that. Means what? Don't we take care of people here? Tell me what is lacking here. We respect everyone. We are repeating what we learned from our seniors, how to conduct a satsang. We are respecting people. We are honoring them. We are worshipping practically. Little bit nice they do. They lift this floor. Offering offering later. Meeloని భక్తి నాకు లేదు మాతాజీ మీరు భక్తి మీరు పూలు చెప్తున్నారు మాతాజీ నేను పూలు ఎప్పుడు ఇంత పొగుడుతున్నాం ఏది చేసిన తెలుగు में समझ कुछ తెలుగు बोलने में मजा आता है ఆ కూర మాడగొట్టి తెచ్చిన మాతాజీ ఏం కలర్ మాత చేస్తారు ఇంత మంచి కూర ఎప్పుడు తినలే మాతాజీ ఓ పక్కన నవ్వుకుంటా అంత చాలా బాగుంది బా మీ భక్తి మాతది కృష్ణ పట్టు మీ భక్తి ఇంత పౌడి కూసోబెట్టి కాళ్ళు గడిగి इतना करने के बाद भी if somebody is leaving the satsang saying I'm not interested, no wonder we left Goloka. What is the doubt? The answer of Vaisham Prabhu said yes, in ISKCON. He actually meant in ISKCON. We treat people so nicely, with all, not with ulterior intention. Not like we are trying to do something to them. We are encouraging them to come to Krishna. Still you are leaving. What can be done? Your relatives don't respect you. I haven't seen one single fellow respected by his relatives. Your boss definitely doesn't respect you. Your neighbors don't respect you. Nobody on the planet is respecting you. Your children are definitely not respecting you. Who is left? Only a devotee is respecting you. That devotee also you leave, then uska kya karenge batao? What else can you do? So that is the danger of independent mentality. Independent mentality. Prabhu, you don't take the independence of choosing when should I go to hospital. When you're deceased, you go. You don't choose, right? I mean, if you have tooth pain, if you have severe tooth pain, do you choose? I'll go to dentist. Dentist. If the dentist office is not open, you'll bang, you'll call his number on the billboard. Yes or no?
Yes.
When we're in pain, you run. You can go to any extent to remove that pain, isn't it? How can you choose and say, Prabhu, I think 2 satsangs in a week, too much, Prabhu. I'll not come to the second one. Chala ekku Prabhu, Gyanam. Saturday but sal. Sunday avasram ledhu. Sunday morning evening, edi Prabhu, na rozanta తీసుకుంటున్నాం. Afternoon mridangam, ఎందుకు Prabhu, అవసరమా? Right? Means what? Means what? You have not understood the seriousness. Tell me one more person who reminds you to go back to Krishna, except satsang in your life. Wife. He will not go back to Krishna. He will desire another way. Desire another way. Materialistic people, when the wife is torturing, they desire another way. They don't go to Krishna. But I'm telling you, the only person we will malli cheppevadu. Bhaktudu okade. Devotee is the only person who keeps on repeating. Become serious. Become serious. This is the only thing. This is the only thing. Now, 31st December, we have Kirtan, Saturday. I am thinking whether or not to keep a satsang on Sunday. You won't do this? Too much association. నేను రాత్రి కలుసుకున్నాను పర్లేదా మాకు చెప్పలేము ఏం డైలాగ్ వస్తుంది. యూ హావ్ నాట్ అండర్స్టూడ్. సరే నా మొహం చుట్టూ ఇష్టం లేదు, ఇంకో సత్సంగం ఇవ్వండి సండే రోజు, గుడికి పోయి రండి. టూ మచ్ అంటుంది, అవసరం లేదు ప్రోజు అంత అసోసియేషన్. మాకెందుకు ప్రో అసోసియేషన్, మేము మంచిగా బతికేస్తాం. అంతే కదా. See how dangerous is Maya. Maya is right beside Prabhu. She is standing with you and laughing beside you. ఇక్కడ ఉన్నది ఇప్పుడు పక్కన మాయ నన్ను చూస్తున్నది. ఇప్పుడు చాలా క్లాస్ ఇస్తున్నాయి వాళ్ళ బిడ్డ అని సంగతి అయిందిరా. సుభద్ర, అమ్మా సుభద్ర అని భద్ర రూపం చూపించగా. Very dangerous. Maya is right beside. Whenever in Krishna conscious activity, Maya is not there in, what is the flat number here? Maya is not there in 502. But they're already in Maya. Anybody for 502? Sorry, I should have asked that before. But Maya is already there in 502, 503, 504, 501. She is personally there. Because ఈ కొట్లందరూ పారిపోదాం ప్లాన్ చేస్తున్నారు. These people are serious to go back to Krishna. అమ్మ నా పట్టుకుంటాను అందరూ ఒక చోట దొరికింది. ఇక్కడ తెలియడే వస్తుంది, అందరూ దొరికింది. పనిచేయి ఫుల్ చాయిస్. అవునా? Maya's business is here, right beside us. She is sitting there. Okay. Tell me, what are you going to choose next? Too much satsang? Too much satsang? Too much satsang? New Avatar 2 has come. చూసాను లేదా? థియేటర్లో చూసాను లేదా? పిల్లలను తీసుకుపోయినా పిల్లల కోసమైనా చూడు. పిల్లల కోసమైనా చూడు. పిల్లల పేరు చెప్పి చూడు. అని చూడు. నా చెప్తున్నాడు. ప్రభుజీ ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు? సత్సంగ్కి రా కౌంట్ పెట్టు. సత్సంగ్కి రా కౌంట్ పెట్టు. నేను పెట్టా. నేను కౌంట్ పెట్టా. నేను కౌంట్ పెట్టా. సాటర్డే గల్లు ఉంటుంది అప్పుడు కౌంట్ పెడతాను. +3. కౌంట్ పెడితే కమిటీ కదా. కమిటీ ఎందుకు కావాలి? ఇండిపెండెంట్ కావాలి. ద మూమెంట్ కూడా కౌంటర్ కమిటెడ్. అప్పుడు వరకు కౌంట్ పెట్టండి. అన్ని చాయిస్లు ఉండొద్దు. ఇంకే చాయిస్ ఉండొద్దు. చుట్టాల చాయిస్ ఉండొద్దు, రైట్? చుట్టాల చాయిస్ ఉండొద్దు, ఎంజాయ్మెంట్ చాయిస్ ఉండొద్దు, టికెట్ దొరకొద్దు. అప్పుడు కౌంట్ పెడదు. దట్ ఇస్ ద లాస్ట్ ఆప్షన్ టు గో టు సత్సంగ్.
2-3 గంటల ముందు వరకు చూద్దాం.
2-3 గంటల వరకు చూద్దాం.
ఫెస్టివల్ ఐడి తీసుకుంటాం.
ఫెస్టివల్ ఐడి తీసుకుంటాం. కౌంట్ పెట్టి
చూద్దాం.
కౌంట్ పెట్టి చూద్దాం. ఊకే పెడితే అయిపోయింది. కౌంట్ పెట్టి కౌంట్ పెట్టి పెట్టే కౌంట్.
ట్రాక్ చేస్తారు.
ఇది జీవితం. I'm telling you, this is the minded independence that we are using. But a devotee is not. A devotee will never leave association. That situation should come. I'm not telling see, I tell you, if you're not attracted in this satsang, my humble request to you, I'm really telling you, not just for say leave this satsang. But go to some other satsang which are attractive. Our business is to go back to Krishna. We're not getting a gang here. Lilananda gang, Praveen gang, Subbarao gang, Malingam Iyer gang, Dasraj gang. We're not getting gangs here. We want to go back to Krishna. That is the whole goal. If you're not inspired to go to satsang again and again, if I keep 7 days satsang and you're not inspired 7 days, then you're in the wrong place. You should be eager to go to satsang. That eagerness is there in the initial days. Starting unta satsang. Chala eagerness untadi. Roji, నేను satsang వచ్చేస్తాను రోజు వచ్చేస్తానండి. 6 నెలలు అయిన తర్వాత వస్తాను రోజు. సంవత్సరం అయిన తర్వాత ఈ వారం కొంచెం కష్టం రోజు. 2 ఏళ్ళు అయిన తర్వాత వస్తుంటాం రోజు. 5 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత మాట్లాడండి. That is the problem. Anyway, we'll end it here. It's late. Yes.
First it mentioned like Krishna with outside and also within, right? It instructs both. Within, how to identify it? How can I know, like, is it my mind giving that instruction or is it super so Krishna?
Hare Krishna. Very nice question. So Prabhuji is saying that Krishna instructs from both within and without, outside also. Outside instruction is coming through Shastra. Within instruction, he speaks as Paramatma. But when the voice is coming from inside, is it my mind's voice or is it Krishna's voice? Right? This question I had asked actually to one Maharaj, and I'm trying to remember the full answer. Few things that I heard is when the choice is in line with what your Guru's instruction is, it is Krishna speaking. Right? And when the choice is about you serving others, it is Krishna speaking. Right? If the choice is about you being engaged in Krishna consciousness, that is what your inner voice is telling, then that is Krishna speaking. But if the choice is about my independence, my time, my thing, Pakka your mind is speaking. That is when the focus is you, mind is speaking. Both are inner voice only. Right? But you have to. Krishna is speaking. Many times we are not hearing him. We are wantedly rejecting him also, especially when you're angry. Say Krishna, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. You say it. Just say it. That voice you would have heard. How many heard that voice? Don't go through. Separation. Then Krishna will become silent. Separation, Asia. Goes out. So first of all, we actually are fortunate that now we know who is speaking from inside. A lot of people don't even know that.
It is linked to the 4 ways of going to Krishna. So one is the spontaneity, The second is the forceful, the way we are doing things and forcing ourselves to Krishna consciousness. Third, Krishna says, work for me. And fourth, he says, work for others. This is welfare of others. It's what you said actually, fourth one.
Yeah. Oh, never realized it. Thank you. Yeah. Serving others is a good thing, but serving Krishna is the greatest. So marathon time is going on. I'm sorry, we could not go on book distribution outside so far. I don't know. Too many things are going on. I would say if anybody wants to do it, just do it. And unfortunately, this time books are also not there. Telugu books are not there. Stock is, BBT stock is not there. But Subara Prabhu is doing such a nice distribution. Yeah, let us support. He's doing, let us support him. Do our best, give our best. Yeah. Anything? Okay. So 31st, before Narshingarthi. So 31st evening, we are all celebrating in my home avatar. 31st evening. Please come early. That's a Saturday anyways. Right? So try to come early. 4 o'clock will start so that everybody can do nice kirtans. And another thing I'm observing, you're not participating in kirtan, a lot of you. Please participate actively. Sing after the singer, and participate actively. Holy name is very, very important. Our whole philosophy is about holy names, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And we'll also have some nice drama activities, spontaneous dramas, right? Like we always do. And we'll have prasadam, obviously. And we'll finish the night with nice kirtan. Maybe 12 o'clock. Balwin Prabhu is not there. But a brief read from.
Will be coming.
No, he's coming on first.
31st.
First goes sir.
Okay.
My mother told.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Let's see. Balwin Prabhu can come, cannot come. Continental.
Krishna's mercy.
Yeah. Some people ask me, Balwin Prabhu వస్తున్నాడా రాట్లేడా వస్తూ ఉంటాడు అయితే ఆన్సర్ అర్థం లేదు. Okay, he's on his way, something like that. Anyway, so we will have nice kirtan that day. We'll have nice consciousness to start the new year. Actually, it's not new year for us, but because we are conditioned to think it is new year for such a long time, better to do something, something which will raise our consciousness. So please invite your friends, please invite relatives, neighbors, tell them it's nice dance night, kirtan night, whatever way, yena kena prakarina, cheat them, but bring them. Right? Because once they come, like you have been cheated. What were you told?
I'm not being cheated.
Yeah.
One row is nice person.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
समर्पिता नर हरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंह देव नरसिंह देव नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि
भक्त विघ्नाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय विष्णुपाद प्रभुदेवाचार्य पुत्र जवान केसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद प्रभुदेवाचार्य पुत्र जवान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की रामाचार्य सहजात ठाकुर की कोटि वैष्णव की प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु आनंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की ओम श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ धाम की वृंदावन धाम की महाराज की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरि परिमानंद Guru and Sri Gauranga Panchal Kalpataruddhasya Kripa Sindhokya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Prabhupada ki let us thank Sri Gopal Prabhu and Poonam Mataji with 3 Lord Haribol. Prabhuji and Mataji have been part of our satsang, actually one of the beginners. Well, satsang, small satsang, when we started, and invite to their home is always the most warmest invite. And I'm already feeling in this new house also. The first satsang in the new house, yeah, the new house. In the old house, we had so many satsangs, oh, so many, right? So it's, thank you, Prabhu, for opening your doors again and doing satsang in the house. Actually, very happy than the hall. The big hall satsang se acha hai.
Yes.
Dharma satsang, So we got reduced. Enthusiastic 110 became 80 again. So 80 is good. We can fit into houses. So good news also. We can do our satsangs in the houses going forward. When it becomes more pressure to become 110, then we'll think about halls again. Hare Krishna. Can somebody sing Mahaprasadi Mandali? You can loudly sing.